Odette Marie wrote in and said, can we please talk about Emmanuel Acho's foolery tonight? All right, so there's a couple of things Emmanuel Acho did that get on my damn nerves. Emmanuel Acho does lots of things to get on my nerves. If y'all don't know, he's a former professional football player turned commentator, sports analyst. But he's done a couple of things. He says that he's the one who came after Angel Reese. He's the one who said, you know, you can't act grown, act like a big girl, and then blah 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 blah, right? And came at her. But recently, Emmanuel Acho has been starting to promote his new book. I'm assuming this is what you're talking about. Emmanuel Acho started to promote his new book called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew. He wrote a book with Noa Tishby. Noa Tishby is a pro-Israeli Jewish woman who has strong feelings about Israeli politics, as many people do. And as an Israeli woman, she has her own investment in that. Emmanuel Acho has an investment, from what I see, in being famous and offering what he believes is smart, sophisticated thinking. I have never heard Emmanuel Acho, with all due respect, and I don't want to disrespect the brother, I've just never heard him say anything interesting or smart or counterintuitive or useful. And so I don't find much value in his commentary. His sports analysis I find interesting because I think he's an expert in his area, you know. If I were to give football analysis, I wouldn't have much expertise. So, you know, we all have our areas of expertise. And I'm not saying he should stick to football. I think he should talk about anything he wants. I think he should study as deeply and widely as possible. I think he should be thoughtful on lots of issues. I've seen people like Michael Strahan do it, and they're amazing. I've seen people like George Stephanopoulos step out of politics and talk about culture. They do a great job. So this isn't about him being an athlete. This isn't about being snobby or anything like that. The issue is that Emmanuel Acho often speaks without thinking. Yesterday on Twitter, he posted a picture from UCLA and said, this student is being banned from campus because he has a Jewish star around his neck. Now, that wasn't true. First of all, there was no reason for him to think that, right? The student didn't even say, my Star of David is what prevents me from being allowed on campus. But he framed a pro-Palestinian student protest in a way that made it sound anti-Semitic. What actually happened was there was a protest area for the pro-Palestinian students, and other students were asked to not enter that way unless they were part of that protest. He went through the opposite way on purpose. And this is according to security. This isn't, I'm not quoting the Palestinian students. I'm quoting this campus security. They're like, look, this guy went the wrong way on purpose as a provocation, which I've seen on lots of campuses, right? He wanted to make a point. If he wants to make a point, he's allowed to make a point. But this idea that he wasn't allowed on campus because he was Jewish is just wrong. It's wrong-headed, it's dishonest, and it's unclear. Now, I don't think Emmanuel Acho was trying to be dishonest. I just don't think he did the research. He saw that somebody said that, or someone sent it to him, and he decided that it must be true because somebody said it. And he uses his huge platform to echo that kind of statement. He doesn't say anything about the Palestinian protests. He doesn't say anything about this righteous resistance we see all around the country against Israeli genocide. He didn't say anything about an anti-war protest. He just points at this out, which then from his powerful platform makes it look like the protesters are anti-Semitic. That's dangerous. And then he puts out this book. And again, I haven't read the whole book, so I have more thoughts and comments on his book. I did buy the book, and I read the introduction to it this morning when I should have been reading something else. But I read the introduction to it. The introduction actually starts with October 7th, the kind of post-October 7th moment. But it's very clear that in this book, there's no interrogation of Palestine. There's no criticism of Israel. And this idea that there's some courageous conversation going on when you have a Zionist on one hand and you have an athlete who doesn't know anything about the topic with any expertise. And I think I know he's going to say he's been studying for 15 months on this book. He's been studying Judaism, and he's been studying Black-Jewish relations. And I think he probably has something interesting to say about that. Again, I'm not taking anything away from the brother's knowledge base, but we're in a moment where a genocide is taking place. And I think that a responsible move, a responsible thinker, a responsible voice would have something to say about that, or they wouldn't say anything about that. But instead, Emmanuel Acho continues to scratch when he does not itch and laugh when he is not tickled in front of America. And when you do that, what you end up doing is creating problems for everybody else who is fighting for justice. And you also undermine the work of people who do know things about this topic. So once again, just like with Angel Reese, I wish Emmanuel would talk less and read more. That's my thought.